Good morning. This is CBS 58 Sunday morning for the 15th of December 2019. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Strehlow. Ahead this morning, a young heart attack patient is on the mend thanks to a donor's gift of life. Brittany Lewis shares his story and message moving forward. Plus, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. This week, the latest installment of the immensely popular Star Wars movie franchise hits theaters. Ahead, Brendan Cullerton talks with a college professor examining the philosophy of Star Wars. And later, Mark McPherson meets a Milwaukee firefighter and family man putting his life experiences on the page, hoping to break out in the literary world. Also ahead.
I found it in my dad's office when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11. But I thought it was completely magical.
The Milwaukee couple always ready for that picture-perfect moment. In our Sunday morning spotlight, how a fascination with classic Polaroid cameras slowly developed into an unexpected career. Pauline Lee shares the vision behind a booming business that's reaching people worldwide. But first, the University of Wisconsin is helping our nation deliver on its promise to honor brave Americans who paid the ultimate sacrifice by bringing closure to their families. Victor Jacobo is with members of a team focused on the recovery and identification of U.S. forces still unaccounted for from World War II.
There are 83,000 MIAs. There are a lot of families that are still affected.
On the UW-Madison campus, a team of professors, students, and volunteers are at the forefront of an effort to bring those who were lost to conflict back home.
We can now utilize technologies to help us even determine where we want to dig.
Charles Konsinski and Dr. Greg Jameson lead the University of Wisconsin MIA Recovery and Identification Project, an endeavor with a noble mission.
This project is designed to help identify and recover the remains of our armed services MIA, and that's the primary goal of what we do. That's why it's so rewarding and important.
The project formally began in 2015 after a civilian researcher asked the Biotechnology Center at UW for help in the recovery of a World War II MIA.
And with that project, it opened our eyes to some of the issues within the MI recovery process and how could academia help with that situation. And that's where it really grew from. And in 2015, we devised the project, and from there we've grown it from one recovery to a number of recoveries thus far.
The cases the team focuses on takes them from Wisconsin across the world to conduct their recovery missions, a task that can be daunting even for a determined team.
Out in the field, we're working roughly 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day.
It can be hot, wet, you get really, really dirty. If you don't like being dirty, this is not for you.
While the project's larger goal remains a central focus throughout the process, it allows students to gain valuable experience.
We provide students from a variety of different backgrounds opportunities to learn various research methods related to a variety of different disciplines, including history, anthropology, even biology, other sciences. But we also teach them values of volunteerism, which is, I think, and service, which is really, really important.
From research to travel to excavation to genetic testing and finally confirmation, the recovery and identification process can be grueling, but the journey is ultimately gratifying.
We were fortunate enough last summer to visit a cemetery in the Ardennes forest of Belgium, and while we were there, we saw a plaque basically outside of a monument that had names of MIA from World War II. And one of ours that we had helped to recover and repatriate the remains to the family had a little bronze rosette next to it, basically indicating this individual is no longer MIA. And that was one of the most powerful and emotional experiences I've ever had.
The project has led to the successful recovery and identification of 3 servicemen.
First Lieutenant Frank Fazekas, PFC Lawrence Corin, and Buster Stone.
Konsinski and Jameson say they're already looking forward to their next project in 2020, but note that for this work to continue in the future, volunteers and funding are a real need.
We're always looking on what we can do and on a shoestring budget.
Overall, no matter the challenges, Konsinski, Jameson, and the rest of the team are steadfast in their cause.
It is an emotional, noble, very noble cause.
This is a very, very practical, but also very, very challenging way to honor the memory of our service people who gave their lives for our country.
I kind of found the need of finding people like me, you know, that has an accent, that not always speaks proper English.
Still to come, finding strength and support together in kitchens across Milwaukee.
There really weren't any resources at all, you know, for kids to understand.
But first, a local author finds a tender way to speak to children about organ donation.
OMFG, our Modern Family Guarantee.
Can I get a what?
You'll LOL all week long. Monday.
Let's get matching tattoos.
Tuesday.
It's a body spray called Sex Grenade.
And that smell is driving me crazy.
And it's working.
And even
WTF, Leatherface.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I hope I could be as cool as you guys in 30 years.
Does she think we're 50?
No, she's just really bad at math.
Modern Family Nightly.
Tonight at 7 on the M.
Gruber Law Offices. Everybody treated me with respect. They understood the situation I've been in. You could tell that they've dealt with it before, so they knew exactly what to do.
One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices was spectacular.
Here's your graduation gift.
Thank you. It's perfect.
I am so proud of you. Okay, turn back to the front so I can get your full face. Smile. Be good.
Really? No way.
We're here so you never miss a moment. Your money, your choice. AmeriCash Loans.
We made USAA Bank for members like Cassie. She's made of nerves of steel. So when she has to perform one of the most dangerous jobs on the ship, she says, no problem. She's practical and always gets the most bang for her buck. So when another bank tried to charge her monthly service fees, Cassie said,
no way.
We made USAA Bank to help Cassie keep more of her money with no monthly service fees or minimum balance requirements. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
You've got something up your sleeve.
What you didn't know was you were surprising your father-in-law, Steve.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Safe communities work together. That's why CBS 58 and Milwaukee Crime Stoppers are partnering to give you a tool to work with local law enforcement. You could even get a reward. Join me every Thursday for the Crime of the Week on the CBS 58 News at 4.
Injured? You need a team you can trust. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Marquette Athletics. One call, that's all.
A little later, the story of a young man's heart transplant journey. But first, receiving the gift of life can be a life-changing experience. Organ donors also understand the transformative power of giving, including a local woman who, as Natalie Shepard shows us, was inspired to pen a series of children's books.
So the very first book is my mom is having surgery, a kidney story.
Brenda Cortez never thought Howl the Owl would come to star in 6 of his own books. But in the last few years, he's done that and more.
Kids love him. We've been out at different community events as well.
That includes standing outside Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek. Yeah. Howl has become so popular, Cortez had him made into a mascot costume, and he's pretty hard to miss. He's helping to draw in donations for the week-long toy drive benefiting Children's Hospital.
Thank you very much.
Steve Pfeiffer, better known as Sparky from 105.7 The Fan, was the man inside the costume that day. And how did he end up with the job?
Brenda asks, whenever Brenda asks, you know, we try and help her out as much as we can.
That's because Cortez spends her life helping others. volunteering at, and helping to organize the toy drive for the last 8 years.
She's our rock. Without Brenda, it would be tough to do this.
She's also the author behind the Howl books.
Howl started with a saying that I came up with, which is help others with love. And it spells Howl.
Howl is an owl with a message.
I write about organ donation in a lot of the books that I write about because I'm a living kidney donor.
Almost 15 years ago, Cortez donated one of her own kidneys to another parent at her child's school. The impact that gift had on her daughter inspired her to help other kids understand organ donation.
There really weren't any resources at all, for kids to understand.
She says it changed her life for the better.
I'll tell people it's a life-changing experience just to know that you have the capability of saving somebody and helping somebody in that capacity.
Each book contains photos of real people she's met, kids who've had organ transplants, and stories that have touched her heart.
Chloe and Kendall, and they live in Brookfield.
Now she lives by Howell's motto, helping others with love.
It's a blessing. It's just wonderful, and especially when people reach out to me.
In our community calendar, it's winter commencement at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. More than 2,100 students will receive degrees this morning at UWM Panther Arena. Tomorrow, the top gingerbread house of 2019 will be selected at the Milwaukee Public Market. Part of the Milwaukee Area Technical College's baking production program, industry professionals will judge entrants in the 2019 Parade of Gingerbread Homes to determine a winner. This year's display features 22 elaborate creations. On Thursday, a marquee matchup in Milwaukee. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers come to Fiserv Forum for a game against the Bucks. Tip-off for this potential NBA Finals preview is at 7 p.m. Also Thursday, the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra takes their holiday show on the road to Cedarburg. Once again, the Cedarburg Grafton Rotary Club presents the MSO's holiday concert at the Cedarburg Performing Arts Center. The show begins at 7 p.m. And on Friday, a Motown Christmas celebrates the season at the Riverside Theater in downtown Milwaukee. The show, new this year, features past and present members of the Temptations, the Miracles, and the Capitals coming together to perform holiday standards.
He's been to hell and back.
And stronger for it. Still ahead, a young man's remarkable journey of recovery.
Every day is a learning experience, of course.
And next, what binds them makes them stronger in the kitchen.
Milwaukee, from the lake to the suburbs, it's home. Our city has its own pulse, and we keep our finger on that pulse so we can give you an honest look at our city. Switch to CBS 58.
Deck those halls, trim those trees, doing Christmas right this time.
This year, the gift you really want is at Nissan's year-end event, like Altima, with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Get 0% financing for 60 months on road.
Kohl's makes holiday shopping easy with buy online, free store pickup. Get the gifts topping their list in 2 hours or less. Not sure it's the right item? Returns are easy at Kohl's. And Kohl's takes your Amazon returns too. You'll find new gifts at every turn. This holiday at Kohl's.
Find great savings now during Menards Home for Christmas sale. Keep your home and cars clean with this 1.5-gallon shop vac. With a 2 peak horsepower motor, it tackles tough messes wet or dry. $19.99 after rebate. Get the job done with Works Tools. This drill and impact driver kit is $69.99. This Pegasus folding work table includes 2 clamps and 4 clamp dogs to hold work securely. $89.99. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Major auto accident. Let's do what we do.
Serious injuries. Clearly our driver's fault.
No one admits fault.
So what's the plan? Delay? Deny?
What?
They called the law offices of Hupy and Abraham.
I think you should handle this one.
Call the firm voted best. Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Right now.
You handle it. No, I insist.
Maybe we should settle this one.
Yep, it's 1850. Colonel James, you are under arrest for drinking coffee.
This one's been cut with Starbucks. It's not pure 1850.
1850 coffee. Quality that's criminal.
Deck those halls, trim those trees, do business right this time.
This year, the gift you really want is at Nissan's year-end event. Like Altima, with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Get $500 holiday bonus cash on select models.
That's my promise to you, a promise to be here, to keep you prepared no matter what the weather brings. Whether it's sun and clouds or sleet and snow, I won't let you get caught off guard.
You need answers. We can help. Call the CBS 58 Investigates tip line at 414-777-5808 or email investigates@cbs58.com. We'll find the answers you need to know.
I came in here, I was only 28 years old, and we had all these old guys in here, and they were teaching me how to speak, taught me all the dirty words in Polish.
Milwaukee's tavern scene is a little less bright this mid-December after the recent passing of the longtime owner of the Holler House.
But this is like my playground. This is my family. Some of these people were raised in here.
CBS 58 Sunday Morning first met Marcella, or Marcy Skowronski, in 2016, though many locals have known her for much longer. Along with her husband, Gene, who passed away in 1990, Marcy was the jovial presence behind the bar of this city institution since 1954, always happy to recall a story.
My friends and I, when we were younger, we were sitting here drinking, and of course we had enough to drink, start taking our clothes off and hanging up our bras. My husband almost killed me. And from then on, it was a tradition. The first time you walk into that door, you take your bra off and sign it. Oh, and I got somebody, girl says, I paid $60 for this bra. Couple drinks is hanging.
Not just for its unexpected decor, the Holler House in the Lincoln Village neighborhood is distinct for a number of reasons. It houses the oldest sanctioned 10-pin bowling alley in the United States, featuring 2 lanes still tended by human pin setters.
And I got bras from South Africa. There were some kids here from Australia. They hung their bras up. And Japan. Yeah, when they come in, we make them undress.
Marcy and her tavern have fans from around the world. Frequently featured on travel websites, the Holler House was named one of the best bars in America by Esquire magazine back in 2008, thanks in no small part to Marcy herself. Marcy passed away on December 5th. She was 93 years old.
It's like a family thing. You know, if it was just like a regular tavern, you know, but it's a family thing.
A new and fast-growing group aims to put more Latino restaurant employees in Wisconsin at the chef's table. Members are also using their culinary skills to support local charities. Christine Flores has the Mexico to Milwaukee journey of one of the founders of Chefs Latinos Wisconsin.
The images and smells combined with flavor, like many things in life, have a story to tell, just like the recipes and the people behind them.
It's like networking with chefs, so we try to create like some strong network with the Chef Latinos to try to help to listen to all these stories, struggles.
Martín Magaña is one of the creators of the group, Chefs Latinos Wisconsin. Originally from Mexico City, he moved to Milwaukee in 2002 when he was only 19 years old. He didn't know the language, had studied accounting, but took his first job as a dishwasher, not letting language barriers stop him.
It was Friday, and one of my co-workers came, like, they was kind of intoxicated. I couldn't explain myself, like, people didn't understand me, what I tried to say to them. I said, like, I could do the job, and I learned everything, like, just watching, from the dishwasher to in the line. And so finally, either way, so they gave me the opportunity, but they told me that I have to be washing dishes and doing this station.
Magaña is now executive chef at Tess, owner of the restaurant Frida and Crossroads Collective, and a food consultant.
Different restaurants, different restaurateurs are in need of chefs, cooks. Restaurants are opening left and right. So being able to have a bridge in between employers and employees. It's like it's one of the things that I think I see a lot.
Ramses Alvarez is another one of the group's founders. He's currently executive chef in the Hyatt Regency in downtown Milwaukee.
It's more like we want it to be recognized, we want to be a voice, and more than anything, support the Hispanic community, big time.
The group has had an online presence for about a year now and has more than 260 members from across the state.
I kind of found the need of finding people like me, that has an accent, that not always speaks proper English. And I'm like, well, I'm sure there's other people that is not as outgoing as I am, that has a need for learning.
Nicolas Ramos, owner and chef of Antigua restaurant in West Allis, recognized the need, hence the creation behind the group. On a social platform, they encourage the sharing of recipes, questions, and job postings. While in person, they provide training, resume critiques, and a family.
We've all been cooking for so long, and like just cooking every day, come in, do your thing, open, close in the kitchen. But now it's something else to look forward to, like now it's the page, now the voice is out, now the look is out, so it's definitely something to look for.
According to the U.S. Department of Labor, Hispanic and Latino workers represent 26% of the workforce in restaurants and other occupations in the food industry.
Every day it's a learning experience, of course. Challenges and problems are always going to be. How we deal with them it's going to be the key for success. Yeah, I mean, it's from everything, from language, from, of course, you come into a different country.
But the group doesn't plan on stopping there.
My goal right now is probably try to not create a YouTube channel, but do some cooking videos and upload them on YouTube, so we can share with the Hispanic community.
It's through their experiences and backgrounds that the group hopes to inspire others to experiment in the kitchen.
In the same way, we can help other people to grow. It's whatever they want to become, even if it's not a chef, like anything.
For the strength that you have to persevere.
After the break, the perseverance, sacrifice, and generosity giving a young man a second chance in life. And then,
what's old is new again, and it's putting one Milwaukee couple on the map for capturing moments in time the retro way. That story coming up on CBS 58 Sunday morning.
NCIS, put your weapon down.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Another New Orleans tradition that I love.
Show must go on. I'm genuinely having a blast.
I just love this city. Jackpot.
Give me an excuse.
Tonight at 8 on WMLW, The N.
When you've been injured, you need the hometown team on your side. Trust us to get you back in the game. Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Every good pro deserves a little holiday upgrade. And you know the time is right to get the tools you trust. Lowe's is here with more of the tools and accessories that pros want at our lowest prices of the year. So your bottom line comes out on top.
Get your choice of a DeWalt cordless drill or 2-pack battery set for $99. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
You're a person, not a credit score. But sometimes your score gets in the way of the things you want to do. Personal consumer loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. And you can check if you're eligible on netcredit.com without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan. Visit netcredit.com today.
On the next Big Bang Theory.
I started a business, see? I called them Penny Blossoms.
Penny's business is about to bloom.
Someone just ordered 1,000 Penny Blossoms.
Why does it say One Day Rush?
Amazon offers One Day Rush.
But they don't have to glue the books together.
And Sheldon puts the pedal to the metal.
Hey, less talk, more work. You hear any union talk, you let me know.
Next Big Bang.
Tonight at 6 on The M.
When I got hurt in a car accident, I had so many questions. Can I choose my own doctor? Should I give a recorded statement?
If you've been hurt in an accident, call Gruber Law Offices.
They made sure my future was protected.
One call, that's all.
The 1970s, a decade of change for television, where bold comedy became a small screen staple with smart, socially aware characters.
He's successful. He's single. He's gay.
Shows with Mary Tyler Moore and Bob Newhart blended TV comedy with the era's cultural shift.
You're in what?
Charge.
You can see Decades on over-the-air channel 49.4 and on these cable providers.
As shoppers scramble to fill out their Christmas lists, a heart patient on the mend is reflecting on the most precious gift of all he received September 26th. Brittany Lewis has the story of a rare and traumatic event that put a young man and those around him on a new path, one they believe will help others in the future.
See you later, Kelly. See you later.
There are some goodbyes that are tough, some that are bittersweet.
Y'all look great.
And then there's this one, full of reflection on what brought this family here.
As I've told you before, we're really proud of how you've done.
And the strength it took for them to get to leave.
I mean, he's been to hell and back.
Lisa Schumacher is talking about her son, Logan.
I mean, there were terrible, terrible days.
He's been in this hospital for 162 days after feeling pain in his chest at work.
The chest pain just started to get just absolutely terrible.
He was also fatigued.
They're thinking, I'm 19 years old and I have this chest pain, and what's really all in my chest that can go wrong? Well, my heart.
It was enough for him to leave work to go home.
Chest pain started to get, worse and worse, and that's when I finally told my mom that we need to go to the ER.
We pulled into the ER entrance, and I don't even think the car stopped. He opened the door and ran inside.
She overheard a nurse say what was going on, and then a doctor confirmed it.
I'll never forget the doctor either. He said, for whatever reason, we don't know why, 19-year-old is having a heart attack, but he is.
Logan was eventually flown to Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin.
And so really that, the morning of June 7th was the last time we had talked to him for almost 2 months.
In addition to the heart attack, he had an allergic reaction to a blood thinner.
It's crazy because I don't even remember being in the first room that I was in at this hospital.
A machine was helping keep him alive.
To see your kid like this and you can't do a damn thing about it, that's probably the worst.
There are plenty of days where it was just why? But constantly, tons of people told me, you can't just think, why? Why me? Why did this have to happen to me? Obviously, in the first couple of days, you can think that, but there's no point in asking that question because it'll never be answered. So that's kind of what I came to the conclusion with very quickly, is that there's no point. So why dwell on the past when I need to focus on getting stronger?
He needed that strength to prepare for a heart transplant.
Logan was like, let's, bring it on, I'm ready.
To this day, doctors don't know exactly why he had the heart attack.
In his particular case, he had what we think was a tearing of the wall that led to a blockage of a particular artery that affected the majority of his heart muscle.
But they do know his story highlights the importance of organ donations.
For someone like this, unless organs are available and people offer to donate the organs, the transplant process doesn't work.
A gift his family is thankful for, too.
Thank God to that other family for making the ultimate sacrifice for our son.
A gift that helped him get to this day.
All right. Thank you, guys.
The day he got to say goodbye. To the hospital his parents came to every day.
I don't think I probably would be here if my parents had not come every single day.
To the doctor that performed his heart transplant. And the nurses that were by his side, escorting him through the hallways and down the elevator.
Yep.
With one last piece of advice from his doctor.
Right, this is the first day for the rest of your life.
Before finally heading out the front door.
Here's the blast of cold air for us.
A family grateful for the chance to have this 20-year-old ride off to live the first day of the rest of his life.
Thank you, thank you.
Lucas had read this, and he thought this would make a great trajectory for a character in a movie.
Going to school on Star Wars, why a local professor says there's a lot to learn from this legendary sci-fi series.
We realized, hey, we can pay a couple of our bills for this. You know, school's expensive.
An unexpected career that developed from cherished memories. Next.
CBS 58 keeps you on top of breaking news with our fleet of aerial drones. The leader in drone coverage and the first Milwaukee station to use drone technology, bringing you closer than ever to news as it happens. Sky Drone 58 on the CBS 58 News.
This is a special report from Save the Children. Right now, children are arriving in hospitals across Central Africa, undernourished and in desperate need of treatment. Pierre is 4 years old. He should have his whole life ahead of him. But because of a simple lack of nutrition, his body is weak, and he's fighting to stay alive.
His condition is critical. He has half of the normal weight for this age.
So frail, he can no longer stand. He needs medicine, and he needs therapeutic food, urgently.
If Pierre doesn't get basic medicine and therapeutic food, he will die.
Children like Pierre are the reason we're asking for your help. You could help us provide the care, food, medicine, and so much more that children around the world need by calling 1-800-796-1293 right now and giving $10 a month. Your small monthly donation of just $10 could be the reason a child like Pierre survives.
We are doing everything we can, but we need help. We need help.
Please pick up the phone and call 1-800-796-1293 right now, or visit our website and give just $10 a month. Thanks to special government grants that are available now, every dollar you give can go 10 times further to make an even bigger impact on children's lives. Please don't put this off. Call 1-800-796-1293 right now. Your $10 a month could help a child like Pierre win their fight to survive.
Everywhere news breaks. Every day, the weather changes.
Temperatures continue to come down.
Every emotion
was loved by everyone.
Every investigation.
Those also didn't have any.
Every celebration.
We've got a couple of major Bucks fans here.
Every time the news impacts you. Bill, Natalie, and Drew. Every night, switch to CBS 58 News. CBS 58 News at 10.
It's a busy time of year for family gatherings and holiday parties. And while most people rely on smartphones for their picture taking, a growing number of people are going old school, recapturing the Instaprint magic of Polaroid and getting help from a Milwaukee couple whose hobby blossomed into a business. In our Sunday morning spotlight, Pauline Lee takes us behind the lens at Retrospect.
So it's very much a labor of love.
At this 11,000 square foot workshop in Bayview, retro is king.
There's a lot of 80s and 90s lore.
Here, thousands of time-honored memories are waiting to be captured.
And that's something we're pretty passionate about.
Passionate about savoring time in an instant.
Very different than digital. The experience of looking at film is really, really meaningful.
All of this is the brainchild of Adam and Corey First.
Yeah.
A company built by this husband and wife to preserve the past.
People send us their cameras from all over the world and we repair them and send them back to them.
We're our standalone thing. We've owned it together. We started it together.
All of this, however, wasn't necessarily a dream they had.
This was definitely not the plan at all.
But rather a vision that developed over time.
2012, yeah, 7 years.
Their passion for pictures began when they were young and really took off when Polaroid announced in 2008 it would no longer be making instant film.
Everyone knew it was the end of instant film. We're very sad about it. So it started by us going to thrift stores looking for any cameras that still had a few shots left.
They found hundreds of cameras.
People were donating them or giving them away pretty much for free.
We have photos of our kitchen table, just piles of them.
Once the film ran out, they eventually decided they would sell the cameras.
We realized, hey, we can pay a couple of our bills for this. You know, school's expensive.
The hobby then became a side hustle for the last standing Polaroid film factory in the Netherlands.
We were like professional pickers, to put it in a term.
They soon developed a network of pickers around the country.
We had people in Florida and people in California, and they would go looking at their thrift stores, find them, we would buy them, and then sell them to the film company.
And not before long, the film company, now called Polaroid Originals, asked if they would be interested in not just finding the cameras, but repairing and packaging them for sale. At the same time, Corey was finishing up her master's in speech, language, and pathology, and Adam was practicing occupational therapy. But both said it was an opportunity they couldn't pass up.
So let's just give it a try and see where this goes. And if it doesn't go well, we'll just humbly go back to where we started.
Then what started as a hobby that turned into a side hustle soon became a business. Retrospect.
Retro, I think, speaks for itself, and then spect, looking back. Everything kind of starts in this room.
They now get upwards of 200 packages a day from around the world.
This is from San Francisco.
Each one,
now we're talking,
is carefully examined.
Sun 660 model. Takes a second for the flash to charge, and what I'm looking for next is the flash to go off and for the ejection sound to be made.
Each one,
and this one might need repairs,
is then put on its own path of restoration.
Depends on the model. The models you're looking at right now, 15 to 20 minutes.
And this is where repairs can take up to, multiple hours.
All are cleaned and polished.
We want no traces of previous usage, at least when it comes to things like dirt and residue and makeup and things like that.
And all are put through a final test.
We're not just making sure a picture comes out, you're listening and feeling for a lot of other things.
Their business now grows on a global scale.
Last year alone, we sourced about 65,000 Polaroid instant cameras and repaired and restored about 55,000 of those.
Even in this day and age when we all have cameras on our phones, there's still something special about capturing a moment in time the retro way.
I checked recently. Over 20,000 photos on my phone. With Instant, you get one, and it's not always good. Sometimes someone's blinking, but that's still the one that you took. And you remember opening the camera and framing the shot and taking the photo and watching it develop, and it sort of puts a stamp on that memory.
Making a modern-day statement to be mindful of what we have in an ever-advancing technological world.
You know, there's 100 to 200 million of these cameras out there. We probably don't need to be making them anymore at a certain point, you know, if we're good stewards of the things that we own. And if there's companies like ourselves that are making sure that what's out there is still available to new users when they've reached their timeline with their present owner.
And no matter how successful they become, they can always look back on this memory and know they developed it together.
We drive to work every day together, we leave every day together, and we often talk about business in the evenings sometimes too. And it's those moments that it still feels like a hobby.
I don't think I could do this with anyone else but Corey.
Yeah, thank you. I feel the same.
You'll find today's stories and those from previous episodes at cbs58.com/Sunday morning. And please send your story ideas to Sunday morning at cbs58.com.
Finding time is a challenge.
A challenge this firefighter, husband, and father of 9 is taking on to fulfill his passion for storytelling.
The basis of our course is the idea that what we're seeing nowadays is the creation of our mythology.
And next, with another blockbuster Star Wars opening this week, the philosophical reason moviegoers should pay close attention.
Everywhere news breaks. Every day, the weather changes.
Temperatures continue to come down.
Every emotion
Was loved by everyone.
Every investigation.
Those also didn't have any.
Every celebration.
We've got a couple of major Bucks fans here.
Every time the news impacts you. Bill, Natalie, and Drew. Every night, switch to CBS 58 News.
You've got something up your sleeve.
What you didn't know was you were surprising your father-in-law, Steve.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
It was hard to budget for my recent car repairs because, well, I didn't wake up one morning and anticipate hitting a giant pothole on my way to work. Was I happy when I saw the final bill from the mechanic? Of course not. But thankfully, Americash Loans was there to help me with the extra cost. I was able to apply for a loan right from my phone, quickly and easily. So don't let a few bumps in the road slow you down. Americash Loans. Your money, your choice.
Attention to users of Roundup Weed Killer. I'm attorney David Gruber. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after using or being exposed to Roundup Weed Killer, call Gruber Law Offices today. You may be entitled to compensation. Call us now for your free consultation. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Next time on Mike and Molly, Kathy Bates is back.
Coming to visit. I'm moving in.
She's ready to take it slow.
She came to see me.
It's not fight over her, because you will lose.
Can Molly pull her from Peggy's grasp?
We're going to bingo, catching the early bird at Soup Plantation.
Hey, it's Molly! Stay alive! I will find you!
On the next Mike and Molly.
Monday at 5 on the M.
CBS 58 Ready Weather has a brand new app featuring live radar, severe weather alerts, and hyper-local forecasts from your favorite CBS 58 meteorologists. Harness the power of the CBS 58 Ready Weather team in the palm of your hand. Download today.
With a new Star Wars film opening this Friday, the words "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away" will not only return to the big screen, but will be repeated in classrooms as well. Brendan Cullerton is with one of a growing number of professors using this landmark sci-fi series to, in the words of Yoda, always pass on what you have learned.
Excitement is popping for the new Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker.
I'm just really excited. Every Christmas is a tradition for my family to see it.
I'm really excited to see it. I can't wait.
People just really love seeing the story build and kind of develop over time.
But how was the story of Star Wars developed? You could find out by taking UWM philosophy professor Mark Peterson's class on superheroes. Yes, a college course on superheroes.
It's the kind of class where you'd sign up and you'd think, we're just going to watch movies all semester long. This will be awesome.
Peterson says the class is actually much more challenging. It discusses how superhero stories mirror themes in classical mythology and philosophy, which can be applied to the real world. An example in Star Wars would be comparing Luke Skywalker's rebellion rising against the Empire to a political uprising like the French or Bolshevik Revolution.
Sometimes the popular uprisings seem like they're a good thing. Sometimes it looks like a mob has been let loose on the world. And being able to distinguish those really matters in a severely real way.
There's one theme in Star Wars which is a major topic in the class.
Kind of a classic hero's journey story.
Peterson says it all started with a 1949 book by Professor Joseph Campbell called The Hero with 1,000 Faces.
He's one of the first authors to sort of look synoptically at the whole world mythologies. He started to notice this pattern that ran all the way through. And this pattern is called the hero's journey. And now we're already up to Star Wars.
George Lucas read the book, and so, like many world mythologies, Star Wars follows the hero's journey. Peterson says the abridged version of the journey has 3 main steps.
First, you have to separate yourself from your circumstances. Then you go off on the road of adventure, and then you come back with the Holy Grail.
The first step happens right away in the original Star Wars movie.
Luke leaves, right, runs.
Peterson says there are always characters who have to let the hero pass into the new world.
For Star Wars, it's the bar scene with Solo and Chewie.
Then the second step, initiation into that new world, where Luke meets his sister, Princess Leia, and of course, one of the most famous scenes in movie history.
He told me you killed him. No, I am the father.
Leia shows up here. And then with Dad, of course, which is Darth.
Then the hero returns to his old world with something new. In this case, Luke learns the ways of the Force and refuses to strike down the Emperor and join the dark side.
When he throws down his lightsaber, that's when you know he's actually got it done.
The Star Wars saga will end Friday, but Peterson says the hero's journey and many other ageless themes will continue to be told through pop culture.
At the end of the day, all these art forms, all these films, all these stories we tell are ways for us to think about what we're actually doing. We tell these stories about ourselves. It doesn't always look like it, but they're all about us.
This week in Wisconsin history, it was December 17th, 1954, when a plane crash in Milwaukee changed this city forever. It was a cold and breezy day as brewery president Frederick C. Miller and his son Fred Jr. boarded a company-owned Lockheed Ventura aircraft at General Mitchell Field for a trip to Winnipeg. Just after takeoff, the pilot radioed the Mitchell Field Tower to report an engine fire and prepared an emergency landing. But it was too late. The small plane crashed just north of the airport, killing the elder Miller, his son, and both pilots. An All-American football player and grandson of legendary Miller Brewery founder Frederick Miller, Fred C. was a transformative figure in Milwaukee. His time as company president saw Miller Brewing grow into a national brand, while also recognizing for the first time this special relationship between sports and beer. Fred C. is credited with helping to bring Major League Baseball to Milwaukee and turning professional sports into a major brewing partner. More than 3,000 people attended the funeral service for Fred C. and his son at Jesu Church on Wisconsin Avenue.
It's amazing when you realize how much time you could use when you focus on the time that you waste.
From putting out figurative fires at home to putting out real ones at work, how a local firefighter and author finds time to pen a passion project.
CBS This Morning. More news.
Is it now our top terrorist threat?
More original reporting.
Commemorative Air Force gathering.
Every morning.
We're going to begin with breaking news.
Win the season with new gifts at every turn and Kohl's Cash for you.
You know the time is right to get the tools you trust. Lowe's is here with more of the tools and accessories that pros want at our lowest prices of the year.
Get your choice of a DeWalt cordless drill or 2-pack battery set for $99. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
Another summer day has come and gone away from Paris or Rome, but I wanna go home. Maybe surrounded by a million people, I still feel all alone. Just wanna go home. Oh, I miss you, you know. Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you are. I wanna come home. home tonight. I'm coming back home.
Safe communities work together. That's why CBS 58 and Milwaukee Crime Stoppers are partnering to give you a tool to work with local law enforcement. You could even get a reward. Join me every Thursday for the Crime of the Week on the CBS 58 News at 4.
Trained to save hearts and homes, a Milwaukee firefighter is also shaping his legacy on the page. He's written novels about World War II, espionage, and an area he and his wife know more than a little about, raising a family. Mark McPherson is at home with the Meyers.
In the Meyer kitchen, there isn't an inch to spare. David and Corrine Meyer have a house full of kids.
I have 9. I have a Helen, a Luke, Mercedes. I have a Nina, a Vivian, a Joseph, and then I have a Juliet, Greta, and Ophelia.
It's a full-time job for someone who already has a full-time job. David is a lieutenant with the Milwaukee Fire Department.
By the time we get to the scene, we get as much of a complete picture of what we're getting into. I've been on the job for about 9 years. Best job I ever had.
It's a job he reluctantly admits his mother-in-law talked him into, but was a natural progression from his time in the Army.
I was on the combat medic side, and then I was also operating room technologist. So that was kind of how I got the training to be able to transition to the civilian side.
But even between work and a big family, David still carves out time.
Finding time is a challenge.
For his real passion, writing.
I have 3 books right now. I have 3 more in probably kind of post-production. I've written 8 screenplays, a lot of short stories, and then I started working on some kids' books.
He wrote his first book 15 years ago after meeting a veteran during his time at the VA.
I started talking to him, and he just told me this absolutely incredible story.
After that, Meyer was hooked. He's written 2 more books and recently got into children's books.
So this is the first one.
Each time, his ideas come from what he knows.
All the experiences that I mix in with all the stories.
It's been a long journey.
Corrine is David's sounding board for those ideas.
One of the things, you know, when I'm reading through it, it's like, oh, I already know what's going to happen because I helped you come up with that idea.
Yeah. But the rest of the family helps out as well.
My oldest daughter, a fabulous artist, and actually she did the cover work for my first novel.
The family helped with illustrations for other books as well, and the help helps. The Myers say self-publishing is not easy, and it's not a fast lane to riches.
Absolutely not. Self-publishing doesn't really afford a career change, as it were. At this point, it's being able to put out a story which I find interesting and I want to share with other people.
So between his job helping save lives and the chaos of the Meyer home, where does he find the time?
It's amazing when you realize how much time you could use when you focus on the time that you waste. You took that half an hour, and instead of watching that show, you went in someplace quiet and you just wrote your thoughts down. And after a month of writing a page a day, that's 30 pages. And fast forward to 4 months later, you know, that's 120 pages. And that's how a book can get written.
He says all of that extra time is worth it. His books are available online and have gotten good reviews. He'd like to be discovered and published someday, but right now, he's writing for his family.
He wrote it in his spare time at the time, and it just sat and sat and sat in the basement. And so then he started writing the second book, and I said, well, why don't you just put it out there, just so that we have something, you know, to give the kids someday.
People like to think that you pass things on from generation to generation, and this is one of those that I could pass on not just to my family, but to everyone else.
All the way across my neck to see if I can hear him.
And now, a moment in Wisconsin at Petrifying Springs Park in Kenosha County. Here's a look at what's coming up next week on CBS 58 Sunday morning.
Dementia can impact people from backgrounds, racial ethnicities, all walks of life. But we also know that music is universal and it's something that everyone can enjoy.
The incredible power of Christmas music. Next week, we take you inside the music hall with the Wisconsin Intergenerational Orchestra and the Amazing Grace Chorus. How this collaboration provides joy and therapeutic benefit for people of all ages during the holiday season. Join us for a special Christmas week edition of CBS 58 Sunday morning. For something new under the sun, CBS Sunday Morning with host Jane Pauley is next. Thank you for sharing part of your morning with us. I'm Mike Strehlow. Please join us again next week for CBS 58 Sunday morning.
Milwaukee, from the lake to the suburbs, it's home. Our city has